All right, today we are diving into something pretty fascinating and honestly a little controversial. It's a modern grimoire called Le Livre des Secrets du Voodoo. That's the Book of the Secrets of Voodoo, and it makes a huge claim to reveal the potent, almost lightning-fast secrets of Haitian magic. Now, this isn't just a history book. It presents itself as a practical guide for you to wield some serious power, but it also comes with a really stark warning. So let's open it up and see what secrets it's really holding. I mean, right from the get-go, in the preface, the author throws down this incredible promise. This isn't about some abstract philosophical learning. Nope. This is about you acquiring real, tangible power to change your life. The book basically says, forget history lessons, this is a hands-on manual for fixing your real-world problems. But, and this is a huge but, just as quickly as that amazing promise is made, you get hit with this incredibly stark warning. The author is very, very clear. Using this power goes against the laws of nature, and there will be consequences. It's unavoidable. He calls it le choc en retour, or the backlash. And this idea, it's a critical thread woven through the entire book. The takeaway here is simple, really. This kind of power always, always comes at a price. So, how do you even begin? Where do you start? Well, the book lays out a clear path for the reader to become a practitioner, someone they call a Hougan. And for our explainer today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to follow that path, right from the very first steps a would-be Hougan has to take. Now, you might think the journey starts with, secret chants or incantations, but nope. It actually begins with something much more physical. You've got to assemble a toolkit. And according to this book, these aren't just symbolic props. Oh no, they are essential functional instruments for actually interacting with the spirit world. First up in the toolkit is the bell, la cloche. And the book has a great way of explaining it. Think of it as a doorbell for the spirit world. Seriously, its ring is the signal that invites the spirits to come and listen. It's like a clear line of communication that basically says, hey, we're open for business. The session is starting now. Next, we've got the asan. Now, this rattle is a pretty big deal. The book presents it as a key symbol of the priesthood itself, and it's way more than just a noisemaker. The sound it makes is said to create this very specific vibrational field, one that's designed to attract and then hold a spirit's attention for the entire ritual. And rounding out this essential toolkit is the athame, the ritual knife. The book is super clear on this point. This is a weapon of defense. Just having it there is supposed to act as a deterrent to any malicious spirits that might be hanging around. But it has another job too. It's the very tool you use to carve out your sacred workspace. Okay, so you've got your tools. What's next? The next step is all about creating the right environment. The book actually dedicates a whole chapter just to preparing the physical space where you can safely contact these supernatural forces. So, how do you do it? The whole process kicks off by marking the 4 cardinal points, each with a corresponding element. You put a bowl of sea salt in the north, that's for earth. You light a candle in the south for fire. In the east, you burn incense for air. And finally, in the west, you place a container of purified water for, you guessed it, water. It's a very methodical way of setting the boundaries for your magical workspace. These elements then act as the anchors for the all-important magic circle. The practitioner uses their athame to trace the circle's perimeter, puts the altar right in the center, and then reinforces that boundary. And the book really underscores how serious this is with one critical rule. Once that circle is closed, you cannot, I repeat, cannot, leave it until the ritual is completely over. No exceptions. All right, the tools are ready, the sacred space is prepared, the stage is set. The Hougan is finally ready to contact the entities that are at the very heart of voodoo, the spirits, which the book calls the loa. Now, the book explains that these loas are basically split into 2 main families. First, you have the rata loas. These are described as coming from the older African traditions, and they're generally beneficial, pretty benign spirits. But then you have the petroloas. These, the book says, appear during the era of slavery, and their nature is different. They're described as much more obscure, more ambivalent, maybe reflecting the harsh realities of that time. And it's these spirits that are often called upon for more aggressive kinds of magic. But here's the thing, you can't just call up any spirit you want. Before you can speak to any of them, you have to get past the gatekeeper. The book is absolutely emphatic about this. Maitre Laba must be the first loa you invoke in any ceremony, period. Why? Because he's the one who holds the keys to the entire spirit world. Yeah, Legba is the master of the crossroads, the one who literally opens the path for you. The book describes him as an old man, and his role is just absolutely critical. Let me put it this way. Without his permission, no other communication with any other loa can happen. It's a non-starter. Okay, now let's talk about probably one of the most iconic, most well-known figures in the entire voodoo pantheon, Maître Baron Samedi. In the book, he's presented as the powerful, formidable chief of the Gaides, who are the spirits of the dead. As you might guess, his domain is the cemetery. He's got that classic look, dressed all in black, top hat, maybe smoking a cigar. He is the master of death and sorcery. The book says his ceremonies often take place right there in cemeteries, and his preferred offerings include things like black roosters and, of course, rum.
So let's recap. We've got the tools, we've set up the sacred space, and we've been introduced to the spirits. This is where the rubber meets the road. The final part of the book brings all these elements together into actual practical rituals. Ritual designed to get you specific, real-world results.
I mean, the book is packed with dozens of rituals for everything from love and success to protection. So to see how this all works in practice, let's just look at one example. The source claims it has a ritual for winning at games of chance. So how's that supposed to work? Well, first you need to gather your materials, and you'll notice they're pretty specific. You need a blank piece of parchment, a green candle, that's for luck, a very particular brand of perfume called Fréda, and of course your athame, that ritual knife to keep you safe during the process. Okay, so the ritual itself is this whole sequence of actions. First, timing is key. It has to be done on a clear night during a full moon. The practitioner writes down their request on the parchment. Then they have to go outside, holding their athame for protection, remember, and invoke a specific spirit called Maître Egazan Moko while holding the parchment up to the brightest star. Once that's done, they go back into the safety of their circle, anoint the parchment with a perfume, and pass it quickly over the candle flame. And the final step? You place that parchment under your pillow for 3 nights, and the book says the winning numbers will be revealed to you in a dream. But, of course, there's a catch, and this brings us right back to that warning from the very beginning. The author is adamant. This is a transaction. If you win, you must reward the spirits with an offering. You have to pay up. If you don't, you're risking that choc en retour. You're risking the backlash. And that really is where this explainer has to leave us. The book presents itself as this incredible guide to immense power. Power over love, money, luck, you name it. But on almost every page, it reminds the reader that there is an unnamed but inevitable consequence for using it. So it begs the question, what is the true price of that backlash? That's the one question the book never really answers, and it just kind of hangs over every single spell and every secret it claims to reveal.